Bob Dole, old soldier and stalwart of the Senate, dies at 98. Mr. Dole, a son of the Kansas prairie who was left for dead on a World War II battlefield, became one of the longest-serving Republican leaders. Bob Dole, the plain-spoken son of the prairie who overcame Dust Bowl deprivation in Kansas and grievous battle wounds in Italy to become the Senate Majority Leader and the last of the World War II generation to win his party's nomination for president, died on Sunday. He was 98. His death was announced by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. It did not say where he died. He had announced in February that he had stage IV lung cancer and that he was beginning treatment. A Republican, Mr. Dole was one of the most durable political figures in the last decades of the last century. He was nominated for vice president in 1976 and then for president a full 20 years later. He spent a quarter century in the Senate, where he was his party's longest-serving leader until Mitch McConnell of Kentucky surpassed that record in June 2018. President Biden called Mr. Dole an American statesman like few in our history. A war hero and among the greatest of the greatest generation. He added, "To me, he was also a friend whom I could look to for trusted guidance or a humorous line at just the right moment to settle frayed nerves." As the old soldiers of World War II faded away, Mr. Dole, who had been a lieutenant in the Army's storied 10th Mountain Division and was wounded so severely on a battlefield that he was left for dead, came to personify the resilience of his generation. In his post-political career, he devoted himself to raising money for the World War II Memorial in Washington and spent weekends there welcoming visiting veterans. In one of his last public appearances, in December 2018, he joined the line at the Capitol Rotunda, where the body of former President George H.W. Bush, an erstwhile political rival and fellow veteran, lay in state. As an aide helped him up from his wheelchair, Mr. Dole, using his left hand because his right had been rendered useless by the war, saluted the flag-draped coffin of the last president to have served in World War II. Politically, Mr. Dole was a man for all seasons, surviving for more than 3 decades in his party's upper echelons, even though he was sometimes at odds ideologically with other Republican leaders. He was National Republican Chairman under President Richard M. Nixon in the early 1970s, the running mate to President Gerald R. Ford in 1976, Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee during Ronald Reagan's presidency in the 1980s, and presidential standard-bearer during Newt Gingrich's revolution of the mid-1990s when the Republicans captured the House for the first time in 40 years and upended the power dynamic on Capitol Hill. His death was announced by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. Mr. Dole died on Sunday. He was 98. Thank you for watching, friends.